In this video 4.2, we're going to be converting units. By the end of the video and work time in class, you should be able to say, I can convert units. For vocabulary, we're going to be using unit conversion factors, which is a rate that would be equal to 1. An example, 12 inches is the same as 1 foot, or 12 inches is to 1 foot. That is a unit conversion factor because we know 12 inches and 1 foot are the same thing. When you divide one thing by the same, you get 1. So that rate is equal to 1. If you look at page 166 and 168, you will see different unit conversion factors that we're going to be using as we convert measurements. So to start with converting measurements, I'm going to show you how to convert miles into feet a couple different ways. It says to convert 0.7 miles, use your labels, MI for miles, to help you with the conversion. And we're going to take that and we're going to multiply it by the unit conversion factor, which we know, if you don't know, that 1 mile is the same as 5,280 feet. So the unit conversion factor here is the 5,280 feet is to 1 mile. That's your unit conversion factor. Now, when I set this problem up, notice that I put the miles on the bottom here, and I put the feet on the top. And the reason is because the miles on the bottom is going to take the miles over here, and it simplifies to nothing. It removes it. So now we're going to have just feet for our label. So now we're going to do 0.7 times 5,280, and we end up with 3,696 feet, because those miles simplified out, so we're left with that label feet. So in this first example here, I used one method, which is take the 0.7 miles and multiply it by the conversion factor. And you'll see those, like I said, on pages 166 and 168. Now another method would be to take 0.7 miles, and we're going to set up proportions, which we're going to be solving throughout the chapter, and we want to know how many feet that is. So I put X feet because that's what we're looking for. And then I put an equal sign, and then on the right side we're going to write that unit conversion factor. Now in this time, and this problem, the way I'm setting it up, I'm going to put 1 mile on the top and 5,280 feet on the bottom. And the reason is because if I have miles on the top on the left side of my proportion, I want miles on the top on the right side. Same with feet. If I have feet on the bottom, I want feet on the bottom. So they match up. And when we solve proportions, we're going to do this actually more tomorrow, where we look at the different ways to solve a proportion. And I also know that if I do 1 times 0.7, I get 0.7. So I'm going to do 1 times 0.7 to get the bottom, because whatever I do to the top, I do to the bottom. And when I do 5,280 times 0.7, I get my answer, which will be right here, and it is, once again, 3,696 feet. It's the same from up above. It's just using it a different method. It's using a proportion. In the second example, it says a rowing team completed a 2,000 meter course at a rate of 6.84 meters per second. And we have to convert this into kilometers per minute. So we have 6.84 meters per second. When we look back at what a unit rate is, that means for 1 second. And we want to know, we're going to convert this. Notice I'm setting up a proportion here. We're going to figure out how many kilometers per minute is this. So we've got a couple issues here. If you notice, we have meters on the bottom, or I'm sorry, we have meters on the top on the left side, but we have kilometers on the right side. They don't match. And we have seconds on the left side and the bottom, and we have minutes on the bottom. They don't match. What we have to do before we can solve this proportion is we have to make all of the units the same. So the top 2 units should be the same and the bottom 2 units should be the same. Well, I know I can take 1 minute. I'm going to erase the 1 minute here. And I'm going to replace that with 60 seconds because that's the conversion between minutes and seconds. So now the bottom is the same, so we're good. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take 6.84 meters and we're going to turn that into kilometers. So we've got 6.84 meters. We're going to multiply that by the unit conversion factor, that 1 kilometer is 1,000 meters. Now this is one way to do it. You can also use your steps from science class where you're looking at King Henry doesn't usually drink chocolate milk and convert by using the decimal, or you can cross out the m's. 6.84 times 1 and then divide it by 1,000 and you're left with 0.00684 kilometers. So now I'm coming back over to my proportion. I'm erasing that amount that was in meters, and I'm going to now change it to 0.00684 kilometers. Now my units match on the top, they match on the bottom. Now I can solve the proportion. I know that 60 divided by 60, oh, actually I need to go the other direction, erase this. I know that 1 times 60 is 60, so I do the same to the top. We're going to take 0.00684, multiply it by 60, and you get 0.4104 kilometers per minute, because for 60 seconds is per minute. We're going to use compatible numbers to estimate the number of gallons in 33 quarts. So if we have 33 quarts, we can convert this to gallons. We know that the unit conversion, we know that there's 4 quarts in 1 gallon. Now notice when I wrote the unit conversion, I put the quarts on the bottom, so when I multiply, this basically simplifies out. So we're left with gallons. So now what we're doing here is we would be doing 33 times 1 divided by 4, divided by the 4 here. However, compatible numbers means that we've got numbers that are easy to work with. So if we know we're basically taking 33 dividing it by 4, we're going to change that to 32. Because 32 divided by 4, that's compatible. It's a nice easy number. It gives us 32 times 1, 32 divided by 4 gives us 8 gallons. And compatible numbers, once again, means they work really well together. We're looking at some basic math facts. In example 4, we're going to convert 650 grams to ounces. So this means we're going from grams, which is metric, to ounces, which is customary. Look at page 168, I believe, in your textbook, and it will give you conversions. And there are approximate conversions between the different systems. And so we've got 650 grams, and we're going to multiply that by the unit conversion factor, which is 28.4 grams is approximately 1 ounce. And so notice I put grams on the bottom, so that crosses out. With that, we're left with ounces. So you take 650 times 1 divided by 28.4, and you're left with 22.9 ounces. And it's approximate because that conversion is an approximate conversion as well. Can you say, I can convert units? Here's your output to work out in class, or for class, so be prepared with any questions as we're working on converting units tomorrow.